Greetings from the 21st century, and today I'm going to be talking about a painting which is straight from the 17th century. It's all about the English Civil War, hence this rather dashing cavalier hat. This is entitled The Death of King Charles I. The famous king who was beheaded in the English Civil War. A character which I've always felt an affinity with and rather think he was a force for civilization, a lover of art and fine things in a harsh political world. I always felt that he was slightly bullied by the potato-headed parliamentarian classes. Of course, things were a lot more complex in real life, but I did think that King Charles, who didn't really care too much about the great clashes of people, power and religious forces, unlike Parliament, who really strongly thought that he should care about those things, and he was certainly punished for it. This painting was conceived and painted in 2008, and it was made in a surreal way. I simply drew a sketch on a piece of paper, as I often do, a very small idea sketch of a few centimetres in pencil, and made really quickly and unconsciously, as though some force from the hidden reaches of my mind stretches onto the page. And this was expanded into this full painting. It shows a wave-like shape, but it's also shaped a little bit like a hand, a gripping hand, and it's moving right to left on the canvas, flowing over the skull as though the waves of time are wiping clean the skull, like a change, like perhaps a bit of transformation of time, like a wiping clean of the slate, a resetting of history, which is what the Civil War was like in England. It changed things so fundamentally, and for the entire world it was the first major revolution of ordinary people against the aristocracy, which succeeded, at least. I mean, there were plenty that didn't. And what we also see here, the painting is fundamentally coloured red, white and blue, the colours of democracy. And also, the red is more like, it's a bit blood-like, but I think the red is more of a sunset sort of feeling. So it crosses the two, a sort of passing of time. We've got, obviously, a sole head, the beheaded king. And we also have a beard here, and the moustache part also has some ropes poking through. They seem to be ropes or strings rather than explicitly moustache-like. Of course, it's a bit like my beard now, and I didn't have this sort of facial hair when I painted this. We've also got a white curl, which is definitely a wig. It's a curl of some piece of hair, indicating that this is also part of the figure. It's almost like the entire painting is a surreal portrait of King Charles I, the skull indicating the death as well, and the beheading and the end. The entire picture is a portrait exactly, but in a very unusual and surrealistic way. The curl was done wet in wet, so it was necessarily done in a single stroke with a rigger, which can be quite a nerve-wracking experience. The pigment is so strongly white that it would be impossible to erase and repaint. It would damage the delicate background. But there's nothing really nerve-wracking about it, because every single stroke that a painter makes, particularly a surrealist painter, is true, it's correct. There's no right or wrong in surrealism, because everything you express, everything you say, every pause and so-called mistake is an expression of truth that comes from somewhere unknown inside the body. Everything we say and do stems from somewhere, and the surrealist ideal, the surrealist notion is that all of these things are correct. Our body, some parts of our body, knows that this is true, even if our conscious mind doesn't. That's the ultimate essence of surrealism.